The NBA playoffs are rolling, and so are the ankles. Jason Tatum might be out the rest of his career. Well, at least the rest of this playoffs, and maybe next season. Steph Curry is watching his team face elimination from the sidelines. Do injuries affect the price of players' cards? Stick around and find out. I am your host, Dappz, with my co-star, partner in crime, all those other cool things you say, the biggest buyer of sports cards in America, the man with no last name, Ethan. Welcome to another episode of Up or Down, the show where we take an in-depth look at what moves a card's price up or down. So last week we talked about the Knicks team and some of their prices. We saw what just happened to Tatum last night. Injury, you don't like to see that. And even as a Knicks fan, by the way, I don't like to see that type of injury. I would rather him just be out for a week, this week, so that the Knicks don't have to play him, right? But I don't want to see this guy tear his Achilles or not play for a significant amount of time. But the reality of the situation is now Tatum cards are going down. And when a player gets injured, I personally believe that that is the greatest opportunity for you to purchase their cards at a significant discount. What are your feelings on that?
I don't like when players go down in the playoffs because then there's like an asterisk next to the record at the end of the series. Like, hey, this guy didn't play, this guy didn't play. But in terms of market value, like getting hurt in the playoffs or the regular season or any time, even the offseason, your card's going to plummet. It's sad because Tatum could have brought back the series and helped his value that was already crashing down from getting shut out for 2-game winners back-to-back nights. It might not even be the time to buy Tatum, because there's a slow burn at the end once you're injured. Like, you're going to go down until probably December. And then December would be the time to pick him up. But in terms of just getting hurt in the playoffs, like, there's no winning. Like, you can't go up from it.
And I think Tatum's NT-RPA sold for around $190,000. So do you see that as a card that's going down right now and there's going to be an opportunity to buy a card like that? Or you think the guy who has that is like, I'm not selling that, I'm waiting?
Tatum NT-RPA is way less than that. A Tatum NT-RPA probably now is like $40,000, but privately they move for upwards to like $60,000. In terms of comps online, you will see them go down, but the private buyers of Tatum will still be around no matter what. He's 27 years old. Like, he has so much potential. He's on a great team. He may not be the most promotable star, but he still is a nice, genuine guy. I would pick up his NT-RPAs for anything under $30,000, no matter what. Like, when Lukas are doing 80 to 100, there's no way that Tatum, who's won a championship, been to just as many Eastern Conference Finals, isn't the same value.
And then we have Jaylen Brown's NT Logo Min, which sold for $60,000. I think his Gold Prism did closer to $20,000. So do you see those cards going down in price if the Celtics lose? Do you think they'll hold around those areas?
Jaylen Brown will not go down because he's already down. Like, Jaylen Brown is a Finals MVP and a champion. He should be significantly more, and he will never get the credit for it. I think it's tied to a little bit of the 2016 class. It's such a shitty class that the connotation of being with Ben Simmons and all these other scrubs, Markelle Fultz, it's just not good for the market. Jaylen Brown's market can still go up from this. If he comes out next game and drops a 50 burger on the Knicks and wins, like, that could be good for him.
And then we'll move right into Steph Curry, who's also injured. If they get booted from the playoffs, is Steph's market about to go down for a little bit, or is he just too solidified as a GOAT that it's you could see a 5% fluctuation maybe?
I don't think you can tell a 35-year-old first ballot Hall of Famer his market's going down because he got a injury that he always has. I think it's an ankle injury again. This guy has probably lost seasons of his life from ankle injuries. There's no change in his market from missing a playoff series. And also, Jimmy and Draymond are kind of holding it down at this point. Similar to the Jaylen Brown market, Donovan Mitchell's market is also super undervalued. And this won't be the biggest loss in value, but the biggest loss in the opportunity. If Donovan Mitchell won the East this year, he would finally, like, go over the mountain to be a elite top 10 player with an NT-RPA being $50,000 plus. I mean, I see his Emerald 9.5 just sitting around for like $30,000. He's averaging over 25 a career player. He's the first seed in the East. He should be an elite player, but lost out on the opportunity because of what happened.
So in theory, though, Donovan Mitchell's about to go down in price because they're going to lose to the Pacers, it looks like, right? And then he goes down in price, but there's a buying opportunity. The Cavs get healthy. There's no reason the Cavs healthy next year shouldn't do what they did this year. They have the same exact team. So Donovan Mitchell, while we're talking about going down right now, buying opportunity, and if he does do what you say, which it seems like there's plenty of opportunity for the Cavs to win the East next year, Donovan Mitchell could see his price skyrocket and go up if he were to get to the finals next year.
You know, Donovan Mitchell keeps getting opportunities to go up, and he never goes up. I mean, he's not going to lose value from this playoffs because he's already so cheap, but he lost out on so much value. Like, you could have seen his things 2-3x if he just sweeps the Pacers and then beats the Knicks or the Celtics. I mean, that's going to be the hottest card in the market. You can go look at his rookie kabooms. I saw PSA 9 going for like $800 the other day. I mean, this guy's an all-star. If you look at the league, he's still a top 20 player, but yeah, he lost out on all the opportunities. So same thing with Garland too. Garland could have skyrocketed too. The whole Cavs team, Mobley, like next year they'll be good, but it reminds me of the Hawks back in the day with Coach Bud and having too many mouths to feed and too good of a team. Like, there's no star there, and I just don't see any long-term success without having that guy.
I think Donovan Mitchell is a star. I do think that he's probably over the hump, right, in his career. He's probably on the downhill side. I mean, listen, that 50-50 game where the Jazz played the Nuggets, Jamal Murray versus D. Mitch, like that was 5 years ago now, and that was one of the coolest moments in NBA playoffs that I've ever watched. Two guys scoring 50 against one another, back-to-back, Jamal versus Donovan Mitchell, and you know, I really think he just dropped 40 the other night, by the way, Mitchell. So, like, he's the guy, but he had a core team around him with Mobley and Garland and the other role players on the team. And it's unfortunate when a team gets to the playoffs and 3-year starters or 2-year starters aren't playing, right? But that's part of the game is staying healthy. Where there's opportunity, by the way, in buying cards is people who are unhealthy. And in previous seasons, Ja Morant went down. And I think we talked a bit about this on previous episodes too. Like, I was buying his kabooms at 40% discount, and then Ja came back, starts dunking on people, right? And then he pulled out the gun, and, you know, his card went down again. But this is how it goes in the market: is you're waiting for these buying opportunities, and if you're sitting on cash at the right times, or I mean, even if you want to trade into some of these cards, but if you can hold for 6-8 months and maybe less sometimes, right? That's where I see the most value, or at minimum, not the most value, because obviously if you can scout players, that's the most value. But the surest way to make 10, 20, 30% returns in cards is wait till a player gets injured and then buy up their cards, as long as it's not a lifelong injury.
You know what I've noticed? Thank you for bringing up Jamal Murray. There's two groups of players in the NBA, and they're both equally as good. There's a Donovan Mitchell, Jaylen Brown, Jamal Murray. So you just have a market where it's just super stagnant. Prices don't go up or down much. It's a good and a bad thing because it's a safe play, but you won't see any of these guys skyrocket. And then you see players like LaMelo Ball and John Morant, who are probably equally good players, but any news is up 50% or down 50%. Like, maybe they're more marketable and more liked and have a higher ceiling. But if you're picking teams in the NBA, those 5 players are kind of drafted the same way, the same turn. I don't get why John Morant and LaMelo can just have like a couple good months and skyrocket 40% when Donovan Mitchell's had 7 good years on his belt.
I think part of it is age, right? So the younger you are, the more people believe that you have a longer lifespan in your career. And I mean, listen, the fact of the matter is, like, once you hit 30 in the NBA, it's like, are you old? You're old? You're old-ish? Like, in the NFL career is 4 years, by the way. The average NFL career is 4 years, which is insane. So if you're out of college at 22, that means on average you're out of the league by 26. So it's not exactly the same for basketball, but it's definitely the average age is not going to be in your 30s, right? So if you're 5, 6, 7 years younger, when was Mitchell drafted?
2017 with Tatum.
2017. So I guess Ja's only 3 years.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
2 years. 2019 is Ja.
2019 is
Ja.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's funny that you mentioned the 30-year-old thing. The biggest loss in all of the playoffs is for an old man and Damian Lillard. I mean, he's past 30. That Achilles injury is going to take him out for longer than a year. And his market, like when he went to the Bucks, it bounced. It went up a lot, and it's going to bounce the other direction now because that team is done. Like his career might be over. His NTRPAs were $50,000 cards.
I think his gold prism sold for close to $90,000 in 2021 during the boom. So I don't know where it's at right now. What do you think it's at?
Well, that's a different story. That's a 2012 Prism Gold. It's like it's first year Prism.
For
That's
sure.
collectible. Like you see Yao Ming go for 10K.
Dude, 2012 Prism, by the way, is like the coolest.
The coolest.
Like it's such a cool thing to collect. Like if you come across a deal on on really any player like who has a decent NBA name, it doesn't even need to be a Hall of Famer. Like those things sell. You'll always be able to find a buyer for those things. But just as a collector, I think they're really cool to collect.
It showed it. 10 years later, they dropped Deca and it still sells out. Like they're just recycling. That card only has silvers and golds. These cards are super rare. You would only get a LeBron in every like 3 boxes. I remember watching back in the day people opening those cards, and the hit rate was so bad. You would never see a gold.
Do you know why, or if it was an accident in 2017, there was also only silver rookies? So like Mahomes doesn't have base rookies. Like they're all silver. Aaron Jones, Dalvin Cook, Deshaun Watson, like that whole draft class, like all of the rookies are silvers, which is sort of cool. But why did that happen? Do we know?
It's a certain printing error where it's like at the end of the pack is a silver. And then when they put it out, the end of the packs were the rookies too. So all the rookies happen to be silvers. Yeah, it was such a bad year. I love when people are like, oh, I have a Mahomes silver. Like, no, you have a Mahomes base card, buddy.
Well, yeah, but it's also like the silver, it looks so much better than a base card, right? And
for $4,000?
I'm curious as to what the pop count is on that card.
5, 6, maybe 1,000.
There's 1,000 PSA 10s, you think?
I'd assume so. Well, we don't really know because people cross-grade the same card over and over and over. So there might be 10,000 in the world and there's 12,000 graded because some guy sent his 8 and 10 times.
Right, for sure. But you could still get a pop count, though, on just the 10. You don't need to.
Yeah,
so,
but it's probably in the 500s. That's my bet.
With that year, 2017, and compared to 2012, you have silvers and golds in 2012, you said. And weren't there blues, though, and like reds?
No.
Those weren't numbered? Or they?
No. In football, there's a 101 called a pylon, but that's it.
There's no other colored in 2012 Prism?
No. Silver and gold.
And black?
No. Blacks were 2014 or 13. I think 2014 was the first year for black.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's why they're so rare.
Yeah,
like
that's why
people
2012
see
is worth so much.
LeBron silver 10s, and they're like, why are they so expensive? It's because they don't know the backstory.
But the other reason 2012 is so expensive also is there's so many like Hall of Famers in that year.
Because it was the gap year.
Yeah.
So they pushed 2009, 2010, 2011 in that class. So it was Kawhi, it was Lillard.
Well, it was a gap year because there was a strike that year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
Bradley Beal.
But weren't like 2 rookie classes inserted in that product as rookies?
Yeah.
Like
I think
Kawhi
2 or 3.
Definitely 2. I don't
2.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the
2011 and
2012.
2012. Yeah. For sure. Because there's like Kawhi rookies. I think is Kyrie.
Yes,
rookie
Kyrie's in
that
there.
product too?
You know, it'd be funny because they didn't print in 2009, 2010 for Panini. What if they threw like a Steph Curry in 2012? If he had a first-year silver prism, that would have been nuts.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, it's a shame to see Steph and his injury, and it's a shame to see Dame. Right? You'd love to see these players have a real shot at. Can Jimmy and Steph beat Ant-Man, or is Ant-Man the young stud who's now taking over? We're not going to know that because Steph's not playing.
Yeah, well, speaking of Ant-Man, that guy has the potential to be the highest riser in this playoffs because if this Nuggets Thunder series goes 7 games and Ant-Man wins his series in 5 games, I'm taking Ant-Man over either of those teams. Fresh legs will win playoff matchups. We saw what happens last year when the Nuggets had to lose in 7 to the Wolves then go on and get whooped by the Mavs because they're all tired. I think Ant-Man has fresh legs this year, and no matter who any team after 7 games is playing a fresh Timberwolves team will lose.
I think it's fair to say we're definitely buying Ant-Man over Zion.
Yeah.
We're definitely buying Ant-Man over LaMelo.
Yes.
Are we buying Ant-Man over Wemby?
Yes.
100%?
Yeah, the only player that I wouldn't buy over Ant-Man is maybe Paulo Banchero because that's just a side note. But Ant-Man, you saw the playoff bounce last year where he just went up like 2-3x, and there's still room to go.
Okay, so as we mentioned at the top of every single show, you buy a lot of cards very often. You are at what, 4 or 5 shows a month
Yeah, at least.
minimum? So what are you buying right now?
So I want to let everyone in on a little secret. Every year, there's certain things that get pumped by a high elitist community in the hobby. Last year,
Are you a part of that Illuminati?
Oh, I'm there. They definitely wouldn't let me in, and they definitely hate me. But I have tabs. I have inside game on those people. Last year, you saw it was exquisite. All exquisite patch autos. People were pumping to the moon. LeBron, Kobe, Jordan. Then this year, you're seeing rumblings that it's changing from that to inserts, Kobe inserts, jambalayas, go nuts, debuts, all those big men on court. And this national, you're going to see that those will be the most sought after cards. And if you're watching this, you're too late. I mean, you should have bought them a couple months ago. But I'm going to let you guys know what the next one is. The next one will be low numbered Dappz chromes and PSA 10s. 2001 to 2008. The golds, the reds, the X fractors, the high grades, the white refractors. All these cards are timeless cards and are aesthetically amazing. At the end of the day, these Kobe inserts are going up because you see them and you're like, these are fucking sick. Whenever you see a 2008 Dappz Chrome Gold, whenever you see a 2001 White Refractor Jordan, those cards don't come around often, are some of the most beautiful cards, and will be pumped by the bigger people in the market.
Well, I have a lot of the cards that you just named. So I have Duncan Go, PSA 10, Jordan, Kobe, like Iverson. I'm not going to complete the whole set, but like I just saw that years ago, and I'm like, I collected as a kid, so that takes me back to my youth, and that's what I'm attracted to is like late '90s and mid 2000s, and I didn't even collect big, 2005 to 2010, but I have a white refractor LeBron, 2007. PSA 10.
Beautiful card.
It's beautiful, dude.
It's so nice.
And like that thing, when I bought that, and I bought that 2 or 3 years ago, like that thing's never going down. Like it's always going up. It might not spike, but like it's going to slowly go up over time. And
you'll see a spike.
And what I'll also add though is go look at what Michael Jordan low number or rare inserts from the 90s are selling for right now. Because that's going to happen with LeBron and Steph 20 years from now. It's gonna be the same thing. So, and you don't need to buy a 2012 Prism of Steph. Like all the Prism that you can look at from 2012 to 2020, let's say, any gold, right? Any short print, any stained glass, right? And listen, what I really recommend is look at low pop counts.
Yes,
right.
Exactly,
look at low pop counts. Like you have this 2006 Dappz Chrome Gold Refractor Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
That are you eyeing this? Are you about to grab this?
It's at the point where I am probably out at this, but this should set some records and just show you what's about to come.
And this is on alt right now for the highest bid is $24,000.
Before premium, it's like $30K.
And this is numbered to 25, which is also interesting because golds are typically to 50. This is and in Prism they're to 10. So a gold out of 25 is definitely like a weird printing unique situation back in 06 is this?
Yeah, 06.
Pop 1, that's insane. You don't see a pop 1 too often of any card numbered to 25, 10 even a card numbered to 10 has a pop 2 or 3.
So why I like these cards a lot,
PSA 10.
it's not only Dappz Chrome, but the finest and the other stuff. Like a lot of it's pop 1. A lot of cards during these years don't grade well. Like you don't even have to go out and get the pop 1 finest black to 9 LeBron PSA 10. You can go get like a Gilbert Arenas 2003 X Factor PSA 10, and you'll look, and it's probably like a pop 3. Go after the T-Max. Go after the AIs. Go after the Shaqs. You don't need to just get the big cards to make money on this bubble. Go get PSA 10, shiny, good-looking Hall of Famers.
What else are you looking at on alt?
So I'm a big alt guy. A lot of the auctions on Fanatics and Golden are just don't feel real. They feel shill. They feel like they have a backer just pre-buying.
So is alt your main go-to if you're a buying?
Yeah, we're not sponsored by alt. I have no
sponsored by alt coming.
Yeah, I have no ties to them instead of the fact I like people that work there. But
I mean, at minimum, Alt should sponsor Saratoga water here so we
Yeah,
don't have to pay
yeah.
for it. Like, we should be drinking Saratoga water as we podcast,
yeah.
paid for by Alt.
Well, so what I'm buying on their auctions are things that don't pop up often. That's kind of the goal. One of the cards was a red, white, and blue Mahomes auto. And as a Mahomes fan, I've seen tons of cards hit the market. You never see this card. I see more white sparkles and camos and rare cards than this. This is non-numbered short print. I bet the pop's probably, pop 7, exactly. This card is beautiful. It has the white sparkle layer on it. It has a good old school auto. It has great subgrades. It's Gem Plus.
And they don't even make red, white, and blue with like a white sparkle over it anymore. And this is what I mean, and what we just spoke about is these unique cards where they print 2 variations together in this 1 year, and it's like they don't do that anymore. And then it's a pop 7. I mean, listen, guys, anything under 10 is ridiculous. Anything even though under a pop under 50 of a really cool player and a PSA 10, like I would say that's like the cap of where you're getting to the edge of like
agreed.
You want to be under that if you're going to hold for 10, 15, 20 years. But
Dude, 4 10s, 1 BGS 10, and 7 9.5s. I love this card. It's also America's colorway.
so $12K, where does your cap on this?
I think this probably goes closer to 20K.
But like, where are you out on this card?
I have to do some research before I say anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of red, white, and blue, by the way. But this with the Chiefs red, really like their jersey
Chiefs red,
accents
Chiefs
the top,
white, and the blue ink.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah, it looks good. It looks good. I like this red, white, and blue.
Okay, next card is a card that I've owned so many times, and I'll keep owning it. Jambalayas from 04 to 06 to LeBron are beautiful. Look at the grades on that. You have 2 10 subgrades. These cards come out of the pack like shaken up with white corners. It's so hard to grade these. There's 4 10, 17 9.5s, and this is 2 10 subgrades. This card at 4K only.
And there's only 4 10s, but even 17, like buying a BGS 9.5 with a pop count of 17 to hold long term, I love that. Like anything under 20. I mean, if you're collecting long term, I love anything numbered under 20. And when I say numbered, I mean the pop count under 20. And also, I'm curious if anybody's ever sent this to PSA and cracked this, because if I have a 10-10 9.5-9, I know the edges are a 9, but like I'm still taking the chance and probably cracking that.
This was probably already a PSA 9. The edges on these cards are all terrible, and that's kind of what they go off of. But look at the whole pop distribution. There's only like 40 graded total. This card right now will probably end up in the 10s to 12s, but next year, maybe in like 10 years, this could
and
be in
I
the
bet
20s,
you 40
30s.
graded totals really like 30, because I bet you 10 people reslabbed and
Yeah.
then cracked them because they got 8s and 7.5s.
Dude, these were so hard to hit. Okay, next. One of my favorite cards. Why did Prism stop making stained glasses? This year is one of the best artworks for all case hits. At the end of the day, case hits, they're not numbered. They're only valued on artwork. This was what we were saying earlier. It's a 20, 30K card a couple of years ago.
Well, listen, what really, I'm looking at this card, and I love this card too, and I remember when it was between 20 and 30K, and it's crazy to see it at 3,700, but I'm sure that, what is it going to end at? Close to 10, you think? 6, 7?
No,
What?
it's going to end at 6K.
6K. So this thing is down, 3X. We are in the off season though, and Burrow could easily go from a $6,000 stained glass to a $10,000 based on his play next year. Again, this is the buying opportunity, right? Like, you're in the off season. Nobody's talking about Joe Burrow right now. Everybody's watching the NBA. Everybody's watching the MLB. Nobody's talking about football. This is when you buy football, right? You hold it for 6 months. If Joe Burrow and the Bengals don't do what they did last year and actually make the playoffs, that's how this $6,000 card becomes $10,000, $11,000, $12,000. This Prism stained glass is by far the best stained glass that they've ever printed.
Preach.
And it just makes me so upset because they finally made a perfect thing, and then it's like they release stained glass every year, and it's always worse.
Well,
How is it worse?
This year it's gone.
Well, it's gone, but they still make it in mosaic, and every year in mosaic,
Obsidian.
it's gross.
Dude, have you seen the Obsidian stained glasses
Yes,
this year?
and
What is that?
And by the way, I don't even care. You put prisms in every other product. Take this product out, put it in mosaic.
Yeah.
Put it in. If this prism was in mosaic, mosaic would be more valuable. If this was the chase in mosaic, everyone would want that card.
Yeah, instead they give you that vertical, shitty, like Ugh, it's just so gross. Like when you pick this card up, the glass, all different aspects of it refract. So it's
But you could even make this card vertical.
yeah.
You could turn this and make it look cool and still staying. But again, you're right. I do like kabooms and this stained glass and certain cards. They look better horizontal.
Yeah, they do. Okay, next is a card of Nikola Jokic, and the thing about Nikola Jokic is he doesn't have a lot of patch autos. He has no rookie patch autos besides a
This
crown
patch is
and immaculate.
disgusting.
Prime Silos are super unheralded in the States. They do a lot better
This
overseas.
came out of Crown.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Crowns has prime Silos that are usually numbered to 25 or 17 or to 10. If you go across the ocean to the Asia, impeccable crown
To the
Silos-
Asia.
To the Asia. They pay
Don't
top
delete
dollar on stuff like that. This is a good rookie. This is a good patch auto of Jokic. It's just hard to find. It's a nice card.
It's sick.
Nothing more to
It's
say.
sick. What do you but I mean, this is at $2,300 with 12 bids. There's BGS pop 1 in an 8.5 and 1 in a 9. I wonder how many are out of boxes.
Yeah. This is a 10. And also 2020. This is a year that's ripped a lot. This is Ant-Man year,
How are
Mellow year.
only 2 of these graded? Do you think that either A, the edges are just so shredded up, people don't even grade them, or B, there's a bunch of these still sealed
I think
in those boxes?
these cards are all ravaged. Prime Silo and 8.5. This is like a PSA 10. You don't even see them graded most of the time because they're so cooked.
Because this is out of a LaMelo Ant-Man product rookie, right?
Redemption on both, I believe, that year.
Wow. So you can't even get these.
You can't find
That could also be why, because people are getting redemptions when they're expired. Wow. That sucks. But really cool card.
Beautiful card. He beat Luka and LeBron. He beat Steph Curry, and then he's gonna beat Shea or Jokic. And then if you go to the championship, he beats the Knicks. Oh my God, Ant-Man versus the Knicks in the championship. That press conference will raise values.
DiVincenzo taking me out as a Knicks fan is like a story too poetic, and I really hope that never happens because I miss DiVincenzo. Like, he was such a crazy energy for the Knicks, and also like it was insane that how often does it happen that you make a trade for the college team that existed in Villanova. They all get traded to the Knicks, and then they trade DiVincenzo. That was like, why did you get them?
Whenever
all?
Josh Hart bricks a three, I just look at it and I'm like, DiVincenzo would have made that. Why didn't you trade him?
But also, Mikal Bridges is like our knight in shining armor because it ended up being such a good trade for both teams. By the way, I think that Julius Randle's playing very well with the T-Wolves. So is DiVincenzo.
No, Mikal is a 5 for the Knicks.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know. But like the Cat being on the Knicks is great.
Yeah.
Like, it's great for us. It's kind of what we needed. We had Hartenstein, who I didn't want to see go.
Mm-hmm.
The Thunder paid him $90 million for like 3 years. It was insane. But also, the Thunder are so deep. I don't see Ant-Man being able to beat the Thunder. Like, I just don't see it.
They got to get through the Nuggets first. And the amount of effort they're going to put in to beat that Nuggets team will drain them. Like, sure, they have a deep bench, but Isaiah Joe and Casey Wallace and Aaron Wiggins are not going to guard Andrew.
Yeah, but OKC let arguably two of the 2 games they lost slip. Like, they had both games, and they also destroyed them by 45 points one game. So if OKC is so deep, dude. Like, Alex Caruso doesn't play. Alex Caruso should be a starter on almost every single team. Like, the only team actually he shouldn't be a starter on is OKC.
You know, I've been dying to talk about this, but I just haven't had a place to bring it in. Jalen Williams is maybe 10 players worse in standings than Shea. Jalen Williams is a top 20 NBA player, would be averaging 28 and whatever 90 points. He's just as valuable as Shea to his team. Quote me.
Do you see a scenario of other players outside of SGA going significantly up in price, or a Jaylen Brown situation where somebody else could win MVP that's not Shea in the finals?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't see the Thunder making the finals. But if some other player wins MVP, they will skyrocket. Shea at this point could not physically be more expensive. Like, Shea cards are just atrocious at this point. Like, great player. I get why they're this expensive, but there's no way they can go up from here. And I said that, I've been saying that for 3 years now. Like, every year I'm like, this is a peak. This is a peak. This is a peak. Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren have not reached the peak. Jalen Williams, if he averages 30 in the finals, will be probably a top 10 priced player.
Let's also, this is kind of a joke, but kind of not, but like, what about the guy who PCs Isaiah Hartenstein? Like,
Yeah.
Hartenstein hits a couple weird shots in the finals and they're winning. Like, he might have an insane amount of room to go up because he's so cheap, right? Like, so a Hartenstein could 5, 6, 7, 10, 20x, right?
Yep.
Because how much are his cards? I haven't checked the
Dollars.
Hartenstein market recently, so I have no idea. I doubt you have. Maybe some people in the comments can let us know what his latest.
He is SSP. I have not
Yeah,
seen his
he's
cards
like
in a long
SSSS,
time.
double, triple S.
Yeah, I sold a Cason Wallace NTRPA for $1,300 the other day, and I think it's going up. I mean, players like that, like Isaiah Joe, like Aaron Wiggins collectors, all of them will benefit from winning championships.
Listen, I think we want to stress to everybody who's listening, this is a huge opportunity in not just basketball, but any sport. Players get injured in the playoffs or they lose the series, and now their prices are going to fall off a cliff. Please reference card prices of a couple months back so you have a general idea of what the card was selling for, if it has inflated into the playoffs, and then what it drops down to. Because if it drops down below the price that it was regularly selling for in the middle of the season, most likely it will go back up to that number next season just based on average play. And if they excel and play better than they played the previous season, that's where you have that opportunity to make your kind of percentage on.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
All right, everybody, that's a wrap for our show today. Again, thank you for watching. I am Dappz with co-star Ethan. I hope you enjoyed our segment that we added today, What I'm Buying, where we discuss what Ethan is purchasing every single week. I used to produce a show every week called What I'm Buying 4 or 5 years ago. I would buy cards on eBay, I'd open the packages, and I'd rip the cards out, and I'd be so happy, and I'd explain how much money I was going to make. I made a little money. I lost a little money. It was fun. Maybe we'll start to incorporate that into the show. But we do want to know what you guys think in the comments. Let us know, do injuries really affect the price of cards? Are they all going down in price? Do you think anyone is going up in price that we did not mention? We want to hear your comments. We want to hear your questions. We want to hear your concerns. Please like, subscribe, do whatever YouTube people say to do. I'm still learning all this stuff. We hope you're enjoying the show. See you next week.